All right, coach. Again, I love the masterclass. If we can help people be better bosses in this world, I feel like that is such a good thing. Um, I also thought about what you said. We learn a lot through adversity. But then I got to thinking about the summer of 92. And you just won your second ring. You've got your run with the dream team. I know you're winning at that point, but was there a leadership lesson from that experience with the dream team that you carried with you moving forward?
No, there were many lessons from being with the dream team, because one, it was a different environment. I was with collegiate players, and we got the ultimate prize twice in a row. And now you're with superstars, men who, they've crossed what I call crossed a lot of bridges. They've had situations where they became successful by handling adversity or changing the limit. One of the first things I learned was from Chuck Daly, who did a masterful job as the head coach and a great man. PJ Carlesimo, we were the two college coaches on the staff. And we came in and to the first meeting, we had our notebooks and everything. And he said, what are you doing? He said, we're going to write down what you want us to do. And he says, put the damn notebooks down. And he said, the very first thing you need to do is learn to ignore. And I said, ignore? And he said, yeah, the kids you work with, you have to watch everything, and everything seems to be a problem, or could be. These are grown men. They know how to do it. So don't cause problems by thinking you see a problem. It will take care of problems along the way. And that was really, it helped me when I became the national coach for 11 years. And also just the level of professionalism from all these players. And we became lifelong friends, all the guys on that team.
That's amazing. Let's flip it to adversity. I'm thinking of 2006, the loss to Greece. One of the things you said afterwards was, we were now going to learn the game we were playing instead of the game we played in the NBA. Right. I'm wondering, how did you use that pain from the loss of that game to fuel you for what happened in the amazing Redeem Team documentary, essentially?
Yeah, well, that was the worst loss in my career, because I'm representing our country, and I found out that we were not prepared to win in that environment. And we weren't that good to change the environment to suit us. The game was not going to change. It was going to be 40 minutes, different rules, different ball, more panels on the ball, and all that. And so we said, we have to develop our own culture, but we have to learn what they do. And then we have to do it better. So we brought in international officials. We had international scouting. We really revamped everything. And then it came to fruition, I made, like, when something happens to me in adversity, the initial thing is, oh, woe is me, right? And that's not going to get you anywhere. So what I've done, I do a 4-step thing. I said, okay, do I believe in me? And do I have the attitude? Do I have a great attitude? And I do. And so do the people in front. Okay, the second thing is belief. Do I believe that I have the capacity to do this? Do I believe in the guys who are doing it with me? Yes. The third step is preparation. Be completely transparent. Like, why did we lose? Why did this happen? And don't blame everybody or whatever. Be accountable and figure it out, and then change it. Change it. Don't worry about guilt trips and things like that. And then the fourth thing is execute your new plan. And that's what we did. we did those 4 things. But I do that when we get an injury, when something happens, instead no, now that the environment's changed, what are we going to do?
Yeah, it sounds like it's an ongoing framework. That's really
It's
cool.
an ongoing framework. And, but that 4-step process, it doesn't have to take long for the first 2.
I love that.
The third one takes a little bit longer, or how long it takes. And then the fourth one is, okay, let's go, man. Let's get this done.
You used the word preparation. I'm not sure if you can see my notes, but that was next on my list. There's something you said in the masterclass I thought was really fascinating. I'd love to unpack it. You said Kobe Bryant is the most prepared basketball player you've ever coached. I'm wondering what led you to believe that?
By example. I mean, the guy, I love Kobe. He was anally prepared for everything. Everybody wants to win, unless you're a complete idiot. There's something, you're crazy. Not as many people want to prepare to win, because the preparation to win is what separates the champions from the people who don't win at all. And when you see the very best in a sport prepare that way, then all right, God gave you a glimpse of something that most people don't see. And that's what I looked at with Kobe. He was there all the time. In fact, he's the one, like in the Redeem Team documentary, he helped change the culture. He helped develop the culture of our team through his preparation example. And the scene where he's coming down the elevator at 5:30 in the morning in his workout gear, and the guys are coming in from going to a party. The next day, 2 guys were there with him. By the time we're competing, everybody's there early. And they said, well, this guy's the best. If that's what he's doing, I better get my butt in there and start doing it. So I just think Kobe was so incredibly unique.
I appreciate you sharing that. One of the things I thought about when you have this framework for this masterclass, and like you said earlier, it's an art and a science, essentially.
Right.
You've got, I think, what you call emerging leaders, right? You're developing these people. Maybe it's someone, if we use a basketball example, that could be your new assistant coach. They've got, they've got the short-term kind of results they need to achieve, but they got to make their mark and they're trying to prove themselves. It could be a lot to try to get right. I mean, that's why we have bad bosses and bad leaders in this world. What's your one piece of advice to say, hey, look, this is a lot, but like, if you're going to make sure you're going to be if you want to be a great leader, make sure you do this part right. What is that? What advice would you give?
Yeah, well, the best thing a leader can do is know his or her people. And like, I can know you, who you are right now, based on our interaction. That doesn't mean you're going to be the same a month from now, a year from now. It's like with teams, you get guys coming back who played for you. They're not the same. They have the same name. They look the same, but they're not, because people are constantly evolving. And hopefully they're evolving in a positive way, but through adversity and that, it might be a different way, or something that happens. So a leader has to be on top of the people that he or she has the honor to lead. And then as you're leading, what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And then how do you use the talents that your group has to come together with a plan to achieve the goal? And once you achieve it, do it, and this is an important part of it, do it in a manner where that group might want to do it again for another goal. In other words, I can be harsh and I can be whatever and get a group to do it once, but they're not going to want to be part of that again, or it's not growth. So the key element is getting them all together and that, yeah, but making them want to do it again. And you're going to be more apt to do it again better because of the experience of having done it together for that one time. And a lot of people don't talk about that aspect of leadership, the continuation. They say, well, we got to do this to get the job done. Yeah, that's cool, but then do all those people want to do it again with you?
Yeah, if I hear you, it shouldn't be hell week. You're not, and it's over, right? That makes sense.
Or if there is part of that hell week and the accomplishment, once it's over, to critique and say, look, we had to do it that way. That's not the way we're always going to do it. And that doesn't mean you never get on people but I love leadership. It's the most fascinating profession in the world. It transcends every industry, everything. There's leadership in everything, and it's the least taught profession in our world. They're okay. I'm going to get a degree in leadership. Okay, there is no degree in leadership. So I was lucky. I went to the best leadership school in the world, West Point, and that helped me immensely. And then being in the military for 5 years helped me as an officer.
I wanted to touch on a couple of things. One of them being this, I feel like we don't talk about this enough, is the sacrifice you make as a leader.
Right.
And I was thinking about around 1993, your dear friend, Jimmy Valvano, said to you that he regretted not spending enough time with his wife and 3 daughters. And you have 3 daughters.
Right.
And he said to you, I was really wrong. Don't screw it up, Mike. And I'm wondering, what did those words mean to you from Jimmy in the context of the sacrifice you have to make as a leader?
Yeah. Jimmy, what he did in the last 6 months of his life was incredible. And we became like brothers during that time. And with the V Foundation, he recruited me, and I've been on that team since. But we were very similar in ethnic backgrounds, our families, and then we're really similar in 3 daughters. And when you're in that position, I think you reflect not just on what you did, but what you didn't do, and maybe more on what you didn't do. And he was just giving me sage advice, and he was right, because you can, in your pursuit of excellence or a goal, you can get off balance, and off balance more in your life. And to sustain excellence, there has to be some level of balance. You can't just go way off. Otherwise, demons will occur, whether addictive demons, whereas keeping balance helps you. And so I was fortunate that he said that, and it resonated then. It resonated more after I got sick in the mid-90s to change kind of what I was more of a micromanager before and could never say no to anything, to where I changed my leadership style after that and really devoted even more time to my family.
I remember reading about that. You said like there's like maybe a bike wheel analogy where you were sort of in the middle and the spokes were coming through. But once you were out of it for a moment or a little while, it wasn't running the same way. And so you change your style to.
A big thing, Omid, is I think I had more delegated responsibilities before. After that, I empowered people to do more. And huge, like right now, I'm sorry I used the word I hate the word delegate. I just can't stand it. And because I know it leads to not optimum performance and sustained performance. But empowerment, if you empower somebody to do something, then they can be themselves in doing it. and they own it. And the more ownership you can get from your team, the better. Like that's the culture we built here in our program, where nobody works for me. They are Duke basketball. They own it. You know, I love that. If you can get that, you got a chance to be like really good.
One of the other sort of attributes that you kind of wrap the masterclass with is this idea of being a lifelong learner and how the best leaders are lifelong learners. And there's this quote from one of your guys, JJ Redick. I heard it on the Learning Leaders show, and he said, "I haven't arrived, I'm always becoming," right? I haven't arrived, I'm always becoming. And it makes me think of the humility and the idea that I haven't made it. I'm going to continue to learn. What does it mean when, you know, it's amazing. I'm curious what it means to you, but that's one of your guys. And that's like the stuff that you're teaching is bleeding out in a positive way.
No, it's great. And JJ, I'm so proud of him and what he did. I mean, he's a 6'4" guy who maybe's dunked once, you know, and had a 15-year career, and great. But how he's transitioned, and he's becoming a star in another area. And you know, with the always becoming is such a great statement. And like I still am becoming. Like I'm making a transition from being the head coach to now what am I doing now? And the thing I'm doing is teaching. I'm learning. And that's why leadership is so damn interesting. And because people never stay the same, and it's not an assembly line type of thing, or there's a cookbook, like here are the 12 steps that you need to become. No. You may only need 4, but how you do the 4, and maybe something else is added to it. But you know, the study of people and getting to know people is the key thing. And that's why when I do a lot of speaking now. I've learned so much from studying the organizations I'm speaking for, and different ways of leading, what they need now. I love it. And so I'll be a lifelong learner about that, because I'm curious. You know, and I'm 75 years old. I'm still really curious about this stuff.
I love the quote. It's hard to see the outside of the bottle, or it's hard to see the label from the inside of the bottle. And I think the perspective you can bring to people and companies is amazing. And I will say, one of my observations, you had this section in the masterclass, and you said, make, you know, motivation a habit, because you always think like you don't need it, or do it once a year to kick off in the corporate world. But you were doing it, it seems like, all the time in different and unique ways, and different, maybe in Olympic basketball with the grown men and the college students. And that was one thing I took away, like, hey, like it is good to do this often.
Yeah. And when you think of motivation, it can be individual and collective. In other words, there are organizations that even, I don't know, once a week or once a month, or we're going to do this or whatever. And that's good. But it doesn't necessarily personalize, you know, and so it might be that you do it with an individual department, an individual part of your team, or an individual who leads that department. And when with the Redeem team, my daughter Jamie, we wrote a book, The Gold Standard, and Kobe Bryant told her, he says, you know, I get paid to play. I get paid a lot of money, and no one, I'm motivated, you know, but your dad and his staff, they try to motivate us every day. And so even what I'm saying about that is not that we did some extraordinary thing, but a lot of times we feel like that person is so talented in your organization, they don't need it. maybe if you motivated them the most, they would have a bigger impact. That's kind of what he was saying. And you can do that. We did a lot of video, music, interaction with the military, just different things like that.
I love that. I mean, it's like someone saying they don't need oxygen. I think everyone needs a little bit of motivation. I love the Manu Ginobili section was awesome in that documentary as well. Coach,
No, yeah.
I greatly appreciate the time. You got to be on live TV. So
Okay.
I love this. I appreciate you giving me what I need to help spread the message, and I appreciate you doing that.
Okay, and take a look at that Nike campus. Maybe it'll give you a different opinion of Portland.
I will. I'm going to go there. I'm going to take Coach K sent me. That's how
Yeah, tell them that. Tell them that. They'll let you in.
All right. Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, Alice.